Good morning, everybody. This is Jim Feist in Las Vegas, and I'm joined again by Hank Goldberg from sunny South Florida. Hank, good morning. We're looking for a big weekend of horses and basketball and baseball. Lots going on.
Well, the Angels keep on winning.
Yeah, they do.
Excuse me. So I had a good baseball day yesterday, and I had a nice conversation with you last night about the NBA playoffs. I had a nice hockey winner last night, so we'll see what happens with the Las Vegas team tonight. That's an interesting series against the Kings. So we got the Stanley Cups going. It's a big weekend. I'm down on the Arkansas Derby. That's going to be an interesting race. And if Todd Pletcher wins, he has a chance to go into the Kentucky Derby with 4 major prep winners, something that nobody has accomplished since Bobby Frankel did it.
Wow.
2 trainers would have done that in history.
That's a great accomplishment, yes. Yep. That's awesome. The NBA starts tomorrow. We've got a lot of baseball games today, and of course we'll have a lot of baseball over the weekend. They're playing in the Heritage, in the golf tournament. I got some action in that. I know you told me.
I don't even look at the Angels pitching matchups. I just take the Angels every day.
Well, as long as the price isn't too out of line, I totally agree with that. But they're going to start getting priced out of the box pretty soon if they continue to do that.
Well, you know what, Jim? You can give runs with them.
Oh yeah.
And not get hurt too badly because they're not just winning; they're winning big, and they've got the next Babe Ruth in that pitcher. Nobody since Babe Ruth has accomplished what this kid is doing as a hitter. You know what? I heard an interesting stat on him. His slugging percentage is higher than the slugging percentage he's given up as a pitcher.
Well, I would hope so. If he wants to be successful, it would have to be. But they actually predicted this kid has the talent to be, but living up to the Babe Ruth expectation is a big weight on your shoulders. He looks fantastic. The Angels look fantastic. And, in baseball, it's hard to bet teams that are really, really good every day because the price in baseball can just kill you. You can win 3 games and lose 1 and almost be even or just a little ahead. So it's very difficult. So, but there's a lot of...
If you win a dozen, it's okay.
Well, yeah, of course. But, yeah, and if you follow the streaks. I mean, the team, that's a good way to go, but you are laying big. So what I do is I bet first fives, I bet team totals, I bet over and unders, and I bet run lines. There's a lot of ways to beat baseball and play baseball for a profit, and it's not always just betting the side to win the game. Because sometimes teams have really good starting pitchers, but they're only going to be in there 5 or 6 innings, and then they're going to go to their bullpen, which might be crappy. So you just want to bet the first 5 innings, and you might want to bet the first 5 over and under runs, and then team totals and things like that. There's a lot of ways to approach the game. That's what makes baseball so exciting.
I'll tell you, the Marlins did something the other day that was so ridiculous. They had a rookie pitcher who had a 6-inning no-hitter. Mattingly talked to his pitching coach, and they yanked him after 6 innings. Here's a team that's not drawing any people. They've just ruined this ball club right now, and they've got a big story. I mean, this guy. How do you take a guy out who, with 77 pitches, has a no-hitter going against the Mets, who had a 9-game, who were 9-1 at the time? Leave him in, and if he starts to waver a little bit, then you take him out. And that was a horrible thing that Mattingly did. And this Marlins team is just very unpopular right now because they can't win a game. And by the way, they blew the no hitter. Not only blew the no hitter, but blew the game late innings, and went on to lose to the Mets. Mets are off to a great start. Pittsburgh is a big surprise. They gave up their best player, but it hasn't seemed to bother them any. I'll tell you who else is playing well. The Atlanta Braves. I don't know how long that's going to last, but you can get 2-1 on them today, this afternoon.
I'll be honest with
take a shot.
I'll be honest with you, Hank. I already bet Atlanta. I took the number. I like the price. I think the price is over.
I'll be honest with you. I did too.
Pittsburgh is playing well. I like them today as well. I like the Mets today. It's just there's a lot of good games out there, and yes, it's early in the season. The weather's starting to clear up a little bit in some places. They're going to get another blast of bad weather this weekend, of course. But, it's pretty soon we're going to be in the, into the later spring and summer, and things will get interesting. The NBA tomorrow is very exciting to me, and I know it is to you. So all of our plays, and Hank's horses as well, and you want to get them, go to JimFeist.com and pick up.
Hey, Jim, before we talk basketball, here's a prop for you. Who's going to win more? What's going to be higher? Stanton to hit 60 home runs, or the Marlins to win 60 games?
Who's going to do more? Or
who's going to accomplish? Is he going to hit 60 home runs, or are the Marlins going to win 60 games?
I don't think either one.
Would you say?
I don't think either one will happen.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't think he's going to hit 60 home runs this year. I think he's struggling a little bit, and he's not hitting well right now. But I think that. But the one thing about him, he's on a team where they can't pitch around him if he ever gets hot. But I don't think he's going to get to 60 in New York.
No, and I don't think the Marlins are going to win 60 either.
I don't know. I'll tell you something. They've got some good young pitchers if they ever let them stay in there.
Very true. Again, just go to JimFeist.com and get Hank's plays, my plays, and some great articles and our podcasts. And Hank, just have a great weekend. I'm excited for it, and I know you are as well.
I want to talk a little basketball, Jim.
Okay.
Two teams that I think are underdogs that I like, and one of them is New Orleans. I think New Orleans has a good young player, and I like them in their series. I think they got a real good chance of knocking off Portland. Portland's been a little inconsistent coming down the line. And the other dog that I'm looking at, I like Milwaukee a lot I actually like three dogs. I like Milwaukee a lot against the Celtics. The Celtics are really depleted on their roster list coming in. And I'll tell you, Utah's going to have an interesting series. I'll tell you, that coach Quinn Snyder has done a great job with that team. And they're not a slouch. Keep an eye on them. I don't know if they can win their series, but I think they're going to give that other side the Thunder fits.
Well, the Thunder definitely can self-destruct, actually. I mean, that line being at 3.5 is kind of telling you that Utah's, by the odds makers are saying Utah's the better team, because that's not a full home court advantage line. So they are telling you that Utah is the better team in their eyes as well. So they're agreeing with you. I got to sign off here, Hank.
Has anybody done a better coaching job than Quinn Snyder?
Well, I guess you could argue that maybe the Celtics coach has done a pretty good job with the deficiencies he's had with the injuries and stuff. Indiana has done a great job this year too. There's been a lot of good coaching going on in the league this year, and they dance between the raindrops because, they're trying to keep themselves healthy and get into the playoffs. They basically have minimized the regular season to a great degree just to get to the playoffs. The seeding has never really mattered to them that much. So I think there's really, really good coaches this year that have done a good job. And Quinn Snyder is right at the top of the list. You can't argue with anything that he has done. He's done a fantastic job.
Look at what the over-under was on Utah at the beginning of the season. The Celtics were expected to be good after they made the trade. Nobody thought Utah was going to be any good. And Snyder, I think, not because I've admired him for a long time, but I think he's just really done a tremendous job. Meanwhile, there are already 2 coaching openings. Bet on Mark Jackson to be the next coach of the Knicks.
Oh boy, that Knicks organization, man! I'll tell you, that's something else. I don't know. Until you fire the owner there, I'm not sure you'll ever have a good team there.
Can't fire owners, but I think Mark Jackson should be the favorite to be hired there. I think, and if he leaves his television job, he can always get hired back. He's a great commentator.
A lot of people don't leave their TV gigs because they make good money and they don't have all the stress of managing.
He'll leave to coach the Knicks, no question.
Okay. Anything else, Hank? Before I sign off.
By the way, I know he will.
Okay, I believe you. With your connections,
I'm not just saying.
I believe you because I know you're kind of wired with everybody. So we'll talk soon. We'll talk on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Hey, I'm excited about the NBA playoffs. I think there's some really good series in the first rounds. So it's going to be competitive. It's going to be great watching and great opportunities for the players.
I totally agree. Any prediction as to who's going to win it all?
No. You said something very interesting last night when we were talking about the odds in the West, about the differential between who's going to win it all and who's going to win the West.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do with the seeding and who they have to face. But the Warriors are actually favored to win it all, but the Rockets are favored to win the West. So the only way I can explain that is that the seeding for the Warriors and the Rockets in the West, they're saying that the Warriors have it worse. But if they get through it and they get to the finals, they would be the better choice to win it all. So, I mean, that's the only way I can explain it because it makes no sense otherwise.
Yeah. Well, the Rockets have a key injury going in, too, so that'll be interesting.
All right, Hank. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Okay.